So we figured we better educate ourselves to the best of our ability in the abduction experience. So we took all the books, all the videos, conference lectures, tapes that we could get our hands on of the leading researchers in the field in alien abduction at the time. And you saw some of those up here in Guy's presentation. We consumed their work so that we could get ourselves to the point that we felt comfortable that we could work with these abduction experiencers and not cause any harm. As we worked with these experiencers and started interviewing them and documenting their case testimonies, we were seeing exactly the same thing that the other researchers were seeing. All of the effects that these people locally that we were talking to, same thing that they were seeing nationwide, if not worldwide, from other experiencers. Same symptoms, same stories, most resembled each other, same stuff you've seen on TV. We were hoping to find something new, but at the time we weren't. We were finding exactly the same thing. Until we came across one special case, and it happened to be a local case. What follows is a case of Bill D. Bill D was an experiencer that came to us. He was coming to my meetings and he had a story to tell. And one of my investigators and I took the time to go to his home, set up a VHS recorder, and videoed him for 2 hours and get his testimony of what he'd been through down. Bill's experience took place in Christmas, Florida, 1976. His abduction started out typically late at night, in bed. Earlier in the evening, he saw some anomalous lights through his living room window over a forest north of his house. He assumed it was a police helicopter searching for drug runners or something. Whatever it was, it agitated his dogs for several hours thereafter. He eventually went to bed. He was lying in bed, kept wide awake by barking dogs, when paralysis set in. This is something we hear about the experiencers. First sensation they get is they start to feel this paralysis. He was unable to cry out. He could see nothing but a whitish gray, like a mist or fog, although he sensed someone or something was in his room. His wife didn't wake him. The next thing he knew, he was being levitated above his bed. Then he had the sensation he was being suspended by what felt like a pole inserted into his rectum. By this time, he was alive with terror, but he couldn't scream. Here is where the story becomes very interesting. The following is an excerpt taken directly from the transcript of Mr. D's interview. I thought I was having a satanic experience, that the devil had gotten a hold of me and had shoved a pole up my rectum and was holding me up in the air. So helpless, I couldn't do anything. I said, Jesus, Jesus, help me, or Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. When I did, there was a feeling or a sound or something that either my words I had thought or the words that I had tried to say or whatever had hurt whatever was holding me up in the air on this pole. And I felt like it was withdrawn and I fell. I hit the bed because it was like I was thrown back in bed. I really can't tell, but when I did, my wife woke up and asked why I was jumping on the bed. That's an unusual case in a number of ways. This man claimed that he had been able to stop the experience while it was happening. Of all the research we had read, from all the top researchers in the abduction phenomenon research, never had we read where anybody could stop an experience. It wasn't there. So what did we have here? Was this guy off his rocker? Wasn't remembering properly or what? We were definitely puzzled, because most of the researchers said that the experience could not be stopped. But yet, I had an experiencer that said it could. It had happened to me. Well, my next thing was to find out more about this experience. I contacted some of the top researchers in this country in abduction research, the ones that had been on the lecture tours, the ones that had written the books, information we had consumed to get us to the point to where we could call ourselves abduction researchers. Called them at home on the phone. I asked these guys, I said, can you help me with a particular case? They said, sure, we'd love to. Introduced myself, told them a little bit about the case. First thing out of their mouths, can we go off the record? I said, sure we can. Just help me out here. Off the record means I can tell you what they said, but I can't tell you who said it. I do respect anonymity if it's asked. MUFON always respects anonymity, even with experiencers. You come to me, you don't want your story told or you don't want your name given out, we will respect that. These guys shared with me, the ones that I talked to by phone, that they too had come across cases like this. And I said, really? I said, all we hear is you cannot stop this experience. But yet you're telling me you also have come across people who have been able to stop this experience and in that manner? And they said, yes, we have. Well, my next question is how come you don't share this? Why isn't this being shared? If you have documented cases like the one I just came across, why isn't this being shared? One of two answers, or both answers, came out of each of the researchers' mouths that I talked to, off the record. First thing out of their mouth was, we really didn't know what to make of it. I'm fine with that. I didn't know what to make of it. But the problem is when they brought up the second answer. We really didn't want to go there because it might affect our credibility in the realm. You understand what I just said? They have information that we rely on, their research, their sharing of information for answers, but they're sitting on it. You know, all through this UFO field, you hear about government cover-up this, government cover-up that. What I just found here was we got to cover up amongst the researchers themselves that people are relying on for the truth. And I shared with them, I said, you know, I got nothing to lose here. I'm a new investigator. If you're telling me there's more cases out there like that, I'm going to go find them, and I'm going to document this. This was now going to become my piece of the UFO puzzle. There's a lot of researchers, they each have a piece of the puzzle. We're all trying to bring them together and put them on a table so we can see what the picture looks like. Guy just shared a piece of it with you just a few minutes ago. This was my piece that I was bringing together. I was going to document other cases like this and find out how many there were. How big is this? Okay? And you know what they all said? Please do, because we can. Over the next 10 years, up till now, I have worked with over 400 abduction experience cases, all matching that first experience. That they've been able to stop the experience by calling out in the name and authority of Jesus Christ. I did not ask to do this research. I did not ask for this piece of the puzzle. This happened to be the one I was dealt. I had no idea it would get this big. I still have cases coming in. We started posting those cases on the internet just for the evidence. Written testimonies from the people themselves. As more and more and more and more got put on the internet, on our website, more and more people were seeing them. And then the next thing I know, I've got people coming to me and saying, I've been reading those testimonies on your website where people have been able to stop this horrific experience that they're going through. Can you help me stop it? Well, that brings us to a whole nother level. We took the findings from these hundreds of cases, looked at the similarities, looked at how these people's lives were affected and how they were able to stop the experience. And we put it together and said, I think we can help you by sharing what these people have done.